I'm Ross Brock and I'm from a small village in Scotland. My favourite sport would be rugby. My dad played rugby when he was younger. He had me and my brother playing rugby on Sundays and football/soccer on Saturdays. When I went to high school back in Scotland, I played from 5th grade or whatever. What's the equivalent? I played since primary 5 all the way up until now. I played for the University of Iowa on my year abroad. I mean, I play it myself. I watched all of my favourite team play every weekend. When I'm back home, I'll go and watch the games at the stadiums there. Some rugby banter, some rugby group chats, that's about it. My favourite team for club is a team called Ulster. They're the whole of Northern Ireland, and that's just a club team. And then my favourite national team is Ireland. So my mum's Scottish, my dad's Irish, so he just raised me and my brother to support Ireland since I can remember, so that's why. Well, obviously it's one of the bigger sports in Scotland. It's obviously the stadiums pack out. I think there's people live and breathe it. They know the players. It's way easier to meet rugby players back home for national teams as well. It's just the whole lifestyle. Everyone gets the jerseys. It's pretty much like American football over here, but rugby over in Scotland and the UK. So it's not actually that different or whatever. It's just less money. I reckon there's more passion in it though, because for football, American football, you get paid to go and play for them, and you don't really get to say where you go. An Iowa player can go to Kansas City and play for the Chiefs and not have any connection to Kansas City. But when you play for Scotland, that's your own country. So it's like playing for the US, it's way more dominant than Nope. I mean, I liked American football before I came here. I used to live in Alaska for 4 years, and I was born in Houston, so I support the Cardinals a wee bit, but I don't know too much about it all. I mean, it's vaguely entertaining.
The Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah. I think soccer is probably bigger in Scotland. There's more club teams and there's more soccer stadiums in Scotland as well. No, I think there's more passion in rugby, to be honest, because it's all about being gentlemen on the pitch and all that. And there's a saying, soccer is a sport for gentlemen played by hooligans, but rugby is a game for hooligans played by gentlemen. So I think there's lots more passion in there, especially just the way they're played. A lot of contact. It's a contact sport, so I think it's more entertaining in that way than soccer, because soccer is played by a bunch of Jessies. Jesse is a big softie. Yeah, soccer is a lot more commercialised there, a lot more merchandise and rugby union. Rugby league is played with 12 men and rugby union is played with 15 men, so there's just less players and it's not as big at all. It's played mainly in Australia. They're quite big until the rugby league in there. Australia and New Zealand, but back in Scotland it's not so big. Back in the UK and Europe, I'd say 15s is bigger, so union's bigger than 7s. But I mean, it's coming more into play or whatever. Those 7s tournaments are getting way bigger, and honestly, I think 7s is getting bigger because it's getting bigger in the US. Because the US men's team haven't been the most successful at 15s, but 7s they've actually won it before. They won a 7s tournament in Hong Kong, I think, or something. The US things that they're good at, so they're gonna support them. Whereas for 15s, the US isn't very good at 15s, so no one supports them. Or whatever, but yeah, I think it's exploding right now, especially because it's an official sport in the Olympics now.
Interviewing Ross allowed for us to learn more about the culture of rugby in Europe and generally around the world. When we talked about rugby in this class, we only really focused on South Africa, and this interview expanded our knowledge of the sport itself and many of the cultures behind it, mostly the cultures in Europe. Ross also talked about the differences between soccer and rugby. This relates back to how rugby and soccer have similar origins, but are two different sports entirely. Ross compared the cultures of rugby in other parts of the world to the cultures of America.